Hey everybody, ready for our collision walk. It's really early in the morning and we're just getting up before the dawn because you know what we're like, that's the sort of thing we do here. Brooke, do you want to set everyone else straight what we're really doing?
I'm surprised your nose isn't growing longer. No, we are doing a nighttime walk to change things up a little bit. So we've had
Ready?
dinner.
3, 2, 1, and we're recording this.
Let's go. So we've had dinner, we've watched some TV, and we thought right before we turn in, we said actually let's head out and we could do a collision night walk, changing it up a little bit. And I've got to say, I actually find, especially walking after dinner, it would be probably my favorite time to walk because I love that at the end of the day, I think it helps me de-stress from the day. It helps me everything, all the highs, all the lows, all the work, everything. I find walking actually my best way just to recalibrate and head into a good night's sleep, ready for a new day. So I love going for a nighttime walk.
So you suggest we make this just a relax at the end of the day walk?
Yeah, I like that. Saying, okay, you've had a big day. You could have had a big day in terms of wow, that was big, God was good and got me through it. Big can also be, yeah, that was really productive and I got a whole lot of stuff done. Big can be, you had an amazing day, but you're still exhausted because you used up lots of energy. But I think I remember years ago going through a situation and I was in my late teens. I was going through walking a journey, walking a trial, and it was really affecting me physically because emotionally I was under so much pressure. And I remember we had to go to the doctors for something, and the doctor actually told me, and she wasn't even a Christian, but she actually suggested, she said, do you enjoy walking? And I said, yeah, I love it. And she said, you know what you should do? She said, over this next season, she said, every night go for a walk after dinner, because she said that will just help you have a chance just to extend, use up some energy. But she said, go with people, just have a fun conversation. And so we did that, and it actually became a really great weapon for me in that season of, at the end of every day, it might have been a pretty emotional day, and I'll just go with my family, we'd go for a walk around our area, and it just helped me recalibrate and just remind myself of the beauty of life and all the good things that God was doing, despite the particular journey I was in. And so ever since that season, and now it's almost 10 years later, and I'm still such a fan of nighttime walks. So I think it's just a beautiful way to end the day by reflecting on God's goodness, reflecting on all the good things that He's done that day, all the blessings that we've walked through that day, and building that anticipation for what's He going to do tomorrow.
I think there is something relaxing about walking, rather than just sitting,
Yes.
using your body. It's just there's something good about being energetic, and we're actually in a pretty blessed time.
Yeah.
It's the days are nice. I wouldn't say tonight is warm, but it's crisp and it's clear and it's fresh, and it's pretty pleasant to be doing a walk. You got to do a brisk walk for this weather. I wouldn't want to do a nice stroll and cool down, but just a nice brisk walk in this weather. But it's got a niceness to it. The stars are coming out. So
it's such a clear night.
Yeah, nice clear night.
I would love to one day, maybe this can be dreaming of the future. Imagine doing a collision walk but going somewhere like the Grampians.
Oh.
Dad, so the Grampians is what would you say, about 3 or 4 hours?
Oh, we've set off someone's outdoor light.
About 3 or 4 hours from where we are. And when you go for a walk in the Grampians at night, you are literally looking up at just nothing but stars. It is gorgeous.
It's a country area. Grampians is a mountain range, and you get out there, you get away from a lot of the light pollution of the city, and you're out in the middle of the country. And especially we would stay in like a caravan park which had very little light itself, and at night you just look up and you just forget how many stars there are and how beautiful they are to view. It's something I do miss.
Now we're going to walk up to where there's a few more street lamps, because for this last little stretch it looks as though we're literally just following nothing. But I do promise you it's right there.
All right, I'll try and find some more street lights.
There we go, just proof that you're right there. You should have been wearing one of those headlamp things.
Oh, I do have one of those.
That would have been good.
So, okay, I'll try and get in.
And what would be fun is you do this kind of walk
watch the,
in just a few weeks' time, and then you'll have Christmas lights on the houses. And that is another thing I love about being in Australia, because Christmas is obviously in summer for us. That one of the things I love is that at night when we go out to go Christmas light spotting and things, it's beautiful warm weather, so you can walk
Yeah.
around the streets.
It's different to people in the northern hemisphere.
Yeah.
Christmas light spotting's out in the cold and the dark.
So it means obviously it doesn't get dark till later, but it is
Now that we've
sunny.
got a street lamp, wearing my
Yes.
collision. Can you see that clearly?
Brand new, the Collision Initiative hats. These only just arrived a few days ago, so we're very excited. Wearing the mission, wearing the thing that God put in my heart back when I was 17 years old, to find ways to collide his world with every mountain of influence. And so having these hats is very exciting. Every time I wear them, I'm just amazed at all God has done.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased. It's my collision initiative hat. That's pretty really cool. I'm very pleased with this. What a good day it is, you know.
It is.
Out in the clear, fresh evening, enjoying a nice walk. I get to do it with my daughter, and you know, life's good, isn't it?
It is amazing just sometimes stopping and just counting the blessings, reminding yourself of all the good things that God has done. It just completely recalibrates you and puts you back in that place where we should always be. Because it's not just being a glass half full person, it's reminding you of who's filling the cup. And I think it's less about saying, oh, now I'm optimistic. It's actually saying, no, this actually helps me remind myself that I'm in God's hand and how good God is and how faithful and how powerful. And that's the best place to be. The bigger God is in your focus, the better life is going to be. And stopping and reflecting on all the good things that he's done is one of the best ways that you can recalibrate yourself to that spot.
I was thinking the other day when I was, just having time, just meditating, talking to God, just enjoying him, and I say, he's about as good as I could imagine. Do you know what I mean? Like it's amazing, his power, his wisdom. I have total confidence that he's got things in control, and if I just trust in him, it'll work well. I never feel the world's got out of control, even though it's got crazy.
Yeah.
I just think we've got lights down here. Yes, we can come down this.
It is amazing. It's almost as though the crazier the world gets, the more you discover about God, because you're kind of forced to discover more about God. And I know sometimes in my life, the biggest challenges I've gone through, the hardest seasons in my life have also been the seasons when I've fallen more in love with God, because I've discovered more about his grace, his love, his power, his strength, his commitment, the fact that he will never fail me, he'll never leave me. And I think that's the amazing thing about God, is that sometimes the darker the world gets is the brighter God shines, because you appreciate and you discover even more about him and his nature.
Yeah, God could have been anything, but it's like the more I discover, it's like, you're really good. You are good. You are kind.
Yeah.
Very, very compassionate and gracious. How cool is it that the God of the universe came to the earth and he'd be stooping in the dust and helping a leper?
Yes.
You know, giving mercy to a woman caught in sin. It's just, he didn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
You know, he's just kind and reaching out to people, showed interest in them. He was very loyal and faithful. Great example to us of, so many,
That is so true. Sometimes we can, and also maybe because we become so familiar with the stories of Jesus, especially if you've grown up in church or if you've been in church a while, you become very familiar with the stories of Jesus. It's actually going back to that first wonder of Jesus is God, and this is what he chose to do. He chose to come and walk this world. He came to come as a baby, grow up, all the things, and then, as you said, everything he did in ministry. It's actually stopping and going back to step one and realizing he's doing all this as God.
Yeah.
It's like, never lose that wonder of that. When imagine you are hearing this for the first time, Jesus came and chose to do everything he did as God, and just have the same wonder you would have had the first time you heard that.
Yeah, it's like, really? So we're going through a bit of a dark patch here. I can't.
So we're back to our dark street.
Yeah, I'm trying to just get to where there's more street lights. Why is it this little corner is very dark?
I feel like some of the lights must have died in this little spot.
I feel sorry for the people here that home is in darkness. But yeah, it's the wonder that the creator of heaven and earth restricted himself down to one of his creation, and the one who put the universe, which we're still discovering in terms of its size and its magnitude and all that it is, and yet he became who he is. That he was born in a place in a manger, that he lived the normal life for so many years. We think we know so much about Jesus, but effectively 30 years was pretty much in obscurity, except for a couple of examples when he was young. Really, that's a lot of time just to be living.
Just the other day, I was rewatching the interview, Dad, you and I did with Christopher Palaha on Breakthrough Academy last year, and I'd forgotten when he said this, because we're talking about the power of our words and using the example of how the zeitgeist is, I ask you the question, how are you? The zeitgeist answer is busy. That is just 99 out of 100 times.
Flat out.
People answer,
stop the world, I want to get off.
Yes, I'm so busy, I'm tired, I'm all these things. That is just what we are expected to answer. And if you don't answer that, it means your life isn't full enough. Basically is what zeitgeist is trying to tell us. And we're talking about the power of our words, how every time we answer with I'm busy, it means you're actually putting yourself under pressure, and you're telling yourself you don't have enough time to do all you need to do. And Christopher Palaha said that God challenged him, so when people ask him, how are you? He said he'll answer with something like, you know what, my plate is very full because God's opened up so many great things. And he said that's still showing people that obviously it means it's been a pretty hectic season. But he said, I'm not going to speak over, I'm busy. He said, I'm actually going to speak over, I'm blessed because I've got a very full plate. And just that in itself, I think is such a great challenge for us as society to take. But the other thing he said in it, he said, at any time you feel as though you're busy and you've got more to do than hours in the day, he said, realize everything Jesus had to accomplish in 3 years of ministry. That's such a great refocus, he said. Anytime we're complaining about how busy we are, he said, just imagine what Jesus is thinking after everything that Jesus had to accomplish when he was given, or everything he had to do, everything he had to show the world, every miracle, everything he had to accomplish, and he had 3 years of ministry to do it. And I thought, you know what? That's a really great refocus of I'm busy, but I'm not the savior of the world who's trying to set up the rest of humanity's Christian walk to know who God is, how he cares, how he loves, how he responds to the sick, how he responds to the demon-possessed, how he responds to this and this and this. And I've got 3 years to do it. And I'm living in a time when, our time going between towns and everything would have taken so much longer. I was like, you know what, kind of really helps me realize I'm very blessed, and I really can't ever go to God and complain that I'm too busy.
I love, it just how Jesus was at times pressured by, that people would come to him. It says that they didn't have time to eat at one stage. But that wasn't, so that was just a reality of under his pressure, under the type of ministry he was doing, that it got to the point where they were inundated. And there was also, he got up very early in the morning, went and spent time with God and said, we've got to go to the other cities. Let's not stay here. And there's so much pressure to stay and to keep
and
working.
there was just people everywhere trying to get to him, waiting on him. That imagine the pressure of that situation where you have people doing, just no matter where you go, there are people coming, people in need, and yet having to keep your eyes focused on what your assignment is.
And I'm trying to think, I think it's in the book of Luke, but anyway, you can look it up yourselves. where it talks about Jesus went and found a solitary place. It didn't just say he went and prayed, but he went and found a place
That's
where
true.
it was
Away from everything.
yeah, where that pressure wasn't there, where the people weren't there, and he could just spend time with God. And I think that the power of that is, in doing so, just looking for I think it was a path, but no path back there. In doing so, he was pulling away from very real needs at times.
Yeah.
He could have just filled himself with people, and I've heard of ministries that have done that. I think John Lake, I think basically, his family and him had a breakdown. They just would give all their food away, and so they had no food.
Yeah.
He'd go hungry. Here, we can go through here. He just allowed people to come at all hours of the day, and eventually his body he couldn't cope. So he's bringing healing, but having a breakdown himself.
Yeah.
But Jesus, in the middle of all that, he found time, made time just to go and spend time with God alone. Go and find a solitary place. It's been a challenge to me. I'm very much I get a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment out of achieving. I love building, I love creating, I love doing stuff. I'm in my happy place when I'm creating.
Ticking off things.
Sorry?
Yep.
Ticking off and achieving and
Yeah.
reaching people and healing people and helping people.
Seeing things happen.
Writing
Yes.
things, getting things ready. I love that. And to me, stopping to pray has always sort of felt, I want to pray long enough that God says, okay, now you can go.
Yes.
It's
like you're recharging.
Well, it's like, what's the minimum amount of time I have to do this and still be doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And that's a real challenge for me to not see prayer as a tick the box. Yes, I know how valuable it is and all the rest, but actually just stop and make it a time of spending time with God, and lose that I've got to achieve things.
Yes.
I feel sort of even that pressure of what have I accomplished through this prayer time.
Yeah. So where's the revelation that I can say, okay, that's what we need to do?
I prayed for these people. I had a vision of this. I prayed out this. I did this. God, I even connected with you in this way.
Yeah.
And I've got to work against, tell my flesh, hey,
Yes.
just settle down. I'm just going to be in God's presence. I'm just going to enjoy Him. I'm just going to spend time with Him. And there's part of me like, but I should be using it to stretch boundaries and pray. But I think a lot of it is, it goes against that natural flow of me to try and make stuff happen. And I really appreciate the way that Jesus is my model in this. I look at him and say, okay, he just went and spent time with the Father. Yes, I know he would have prayed for things.
Yeah.
And I know he achieved things in prayer, but he made it a point to just get alone, spend time with God, meditate and just, and I've often say, God, what did Jesus do in those times?
Yes.
I often try and imagine being out in the desert.
Yeah.
Did he take a skin of, a water skin, or sit there and what did he do? Just imagine I'm out there. Did he sing a song to the Father?
Yeah.
Did he talk? How did he talk to the Father? Because that's the sort of relationship I want to nurture.
Model after. I know the other morning I was out in our backyard having an early morning coffee, just my happy place. And I was sitting there just having a coffee, just looking out, and usually what I would do in those times is I'd have my journal, and I would journal, I'd write down things I'm grateful for, I'd study out scripture, I would read a devotional, I'd do something. And I really felt God say, no, just sit here. And I was like, okay, well, God, I I should write down everything that's coming to my spirit. And I felt God say, no. He said, don't do anything, just sit.
Yeah.
But sit with me. Don't just sit with your mind blank. Actually sit and purposely meditate on the favor of God. Meditate on what is God doing. Meditate, bring to mind times in the past when we've seen God's favor. As a church, we are really focusing on favor in this final quarter of the year. And I felt God say, just do that. Because you don't need to do anything in terms of then writing down everything that comes to your mind. He said, actually just, again, recalibrate is the phrase I often use, because it's sort of putting yourself back in that space of just fellowshipping with God, being intentional and bringing your mind in subject to what God is saying, but not because, I need to tick this off and I need to do and I need to achieve and I need to have something to prove from it. So
Yeah.
no, actually just be with God. Just enjoy his fellowship.
It's a little bit like just like these walks. They're not always, we've got to accomplish that. It's just nice to have the walk, have a bit of refreshing, so I think we've done our 20.
Yeah, we just hit 21 minutes. In fact, this was such a beautiful way. And maybe you're starting your day with this, or maybe you're like us and you're ending your day. It's just actually reflecting on how blessed we are, how good God is, and just enjoying fellowship with him and enjoying life with him. So be blessed, Collision family.
Question without notice. You bought me this hat, and
Yes.
I'm really grateful for it. Can others get hats? Or
I think if people would be interested, we could definitely. We haven't added them to the store or anything, but we could definitely, if people would be interested, you could definitely get a Collision hat. So contact us, and we can make a way if you want to be taking the word of Collision into your world.
I was going to say, if it was like, no one else can get them, you have to edit that out. And so I didn't. But no, okay.
No, thankfully, we've got a supplier now, so we can
I was
get
actually
more.
just curious. I thought, I'm wearing this beautiful hat. Can others get a beautiful
Absolutely.
Collision?
No, we've got a supplier, so now we can just do a print to order. So just contact us if you're interested. But be blessed, family, and just enjoy fellowship with God and enjoy colliding him with your world today.
Bless you guys.